Chat, here we go. Mawkzy versus Nass. This is the road to Nwpo versus Mawkzy and Leon happening in September. It is a set of 10 show matches in which these guys are going to be playing against the same people, not each other, as they try and get the best record possible and walk away with $1,000. Now, what are their opponents playing for? Their opponents are playing for $100 as Nass gets a nice reset pre-flip. As they look to train these guys in their preparation. Now, I was not expecting to pay out as many of $100 as I have had to so far, but I don't mind it. I want these guys to get good practice in preparation, and they have definitely gotten that. They are getting all of their practice here on the same days. It seems like they're definitely willing to grind even after matches don't go their way. Yesterday, after, I'm going to be mentioning how all the different series have gone before this, so it's worth going back and watch them in order. But after Drally was able to beat both Mawkzy and Nwpo, they were down to try and go again. They ended up playing against Toxic. Same thing here with Feer, who was able to get wins against both. They said, let's go again. Get us another opponent. And I tell you what, we are not easing off the gas on these two, okay? These guys are destined to be world champions. They're going to have to get practice against the best of the best. And so we brought in another top S tier, probably 1v1er, in Nass to play against both of them. Nass sitting at rank 2 in the world right now on the leaderboard. I think, who was rank 1? Was it Diaz rank 1 or was it Nwpo rank 1? Those three were all the way up there. Might have been Diaz rank 1. Not DDoS rank 1, which is actually kind of nice. Players have been talking, oh, ain't nitrogen monoxide way. Mawkzy, I mean, this is tough, man. I don't know if this is counting as tilt queuing with the way that have gone, but I mean, that had to be a goal. We didn't get to see it from his POV. I didn't even think it was worth switching over, to be fair. But he gives that one up. And now he's going to start down 1-4. We are putting him through the absolute ringer in preparation for his matches in September. Mawkzy heads to the ceiling for the resets and is challenged immediately. Maybe these guys that are playing against them are playing with a little bit less weight on their shoulders. They're coming in, you know, with arguably lots to gain, you know, getting wins over these potential world champions. Shows you're still one of the top 1v1ers. Mawkzy and Nwpo, that they're fighting for every individual game, every little bit of edge that they could get both in this match and in preparation for the biggest 1v1 game ever played. Maybe the weight's holding them down ever so slightly. Ooh, actually maybe a perfect save from Mawkzy. You might see that and think, ooh, big mistake. But he did manage to bring the ball away from Nass. Problem is he gets demoed shortly after and still a goal for Nass. Sleaze Breeze, thank you for the gifted sub. Nwpo said he uses these show matches for preparing, not his serious playstyle. That's a good idea. I mean, this is exactly what I, you know, had in mind when creating this tournament format for these guys. Is a chance for them to practice, prepare, get scrims. As far as I'm aware, you know, there is no 1v1 scrimming. Maybe one day there will be a little bit more. As I understand it now, 1v1 scrims happen between a couple teammates who maybe just decide, like, hey, let's just grind some 1v1 against each other. I often see TRK and Rawas, I feel like, in private matches with the same score and a high score on opposite sides, suggesting they're, you know, playing each other in 1v1. But I don't think there's a lot of one scrimming, which is, you know, maybe going to change. If 1v1 continues to grow and they add more of it to the RLCS instead of just, you know, those one LAN matches, people going to prepare more and more. I mean, it's arguably in its infancy here. You know, RLCS in its first season looked a lot different. Obviously, there's a bit more structure around the 1v1s than there was around RLCS 3s at the very beginning, but the culture established over many years on how is best to play, you know, the esport, was there for threes. Isn't there yet for ones. For example, I mean, I think they're called friendlies, right? Chat, I mean, I watch a few fighting games as Mawkzy goes for a double jump bump. I'm not trying to say I'm a Pathfinder groundbreaker. That's not what I'm saying. RLCS is breaking ground with 1v1s. But, you know, in fighting games, like the ones that I watch a little bit of Melee, you'll just see basically two top players getting in lobbies and just playing each other for hours. In order to like grind and improve. I don't think that's happening. I think everyone just queues ones ranked right now in order to get their ones prep. Which who knows? Maybe that'll switch. Maybe that'll change as all the top 1v1 players are established. Maybe ranked will be considered, you know, not equivalent practice, just like it is for 3v3, just like it is for, you know, these other fighting games, I'm pretty sure. Only practice against the top players is what really gets you prepared for events, and that's what these show matches are, you know, trying to do right now. As Nass gonna get a reset and flip it over the top of Mawkzy. He's up 8-4. Nass has his fake kickoff red as Mawkzy collects boost in the back corner. Nice flick. Look at the power. That's the Mawkzy flick we're used to seeing. He's definitely still in range to win this game. Just not going to be easy. Mawkzy with a wave dash catch and then another Mawkzy flick. Sent powerfully into the top shelf. Problem is Nass was there for this one. Mawkzy going right. I mean, this is his game. This is what I like to see from him in terms of building confidence. And actually something I wanted to see from him more when he was playing Yan on LAN. He's got a flick. He's got a really great flick. He's got one of the better ones in the game. And he should be trying to use it when it makes sense. And not just stick to a more one-dimensional play style. Now, to be fair, Mawkzy in these show matches has been dabbling with a lot more speed play, a lot more aerial play than maybe he normally otherwise would. Maybe, again, because he's trying to get that into his game. He should be able to get around this one and tap it in. These are the kind of rewards he gets for working on that. As he flips this one over the top of Nass. And straight into the crossbar and down. Mawkzy, look at this. Steals it away. And is trying to rewrite the script. Can't believe this is how we're referring, you know, to these matches, but it's the reality, which is that these two champions are, you know, struggling to make sure they go at least positive in these 10 matches. I think they're both, what is it, 1-3 coming into this matchup against Nass. A couple losses and they'll at best be able to go 500. Which no one would have predicted, no matter what 10 opponents you grabbed for these two. I was thinking it was going to come down to maybe a single loss here or there for one player. But it seems to be a lot dirtier as Mawkzy going to try and get a game 1 win here against Nass. And he flicks it over the top to the backboard and is able to follow it in the top left. Nass still has a chance. Big kickoff win as he single jumps to pop the ball to the perfect position, then uses his flip to get to the side wall to prep up this air dribble. Has a reset over the top. Can he get the double? No. So it'll bounce on the ground. And game number 1 will go to the Mawk. Because these will all release day after day. Each match that's been played will be released on the next day. And, you know, so a couple of them will maybe be delayed by a couple days. People would go up, get the replays, make videos, and then upload them to YouTube. And well, unfortunately, my living depends on these YouTube videos, you know, getting people to watch them. So that means no one can have the replays anymore. Take that. Nass trying to score first. and will do exactly that in his air dribble out of the corner. Nass is one of, if not the best, as I've said many times about different players' aspects, people in the air who are able to read defenders. Nass gets up, gets the reset early, and then just watches and reacts. Improvisation in order to make whatever play is correct and get himself a goal. Your living depends on uploading Feer replays to YouTube. Oh, I got it. So I'm scamming you out of your life's work by not letting you have the ball chasing. I see. If I uploaded them a week or a month later, that would be a big mistake. But YouTube does not like, you know, a bunch of videos you've released all on the same day. It kind of just gives up on any of the old ones. So it works best to release them daily. Then everybody has something to watch at lunchtime or as they fall asleep. Yes, I'm talking about you who's watching this game right now with that bite of lunch in your mouth. Nass losing this kickoff here. Nah, more like toilet for me. Wait. Type 1 in chat if when you see a Feer video gets released, you head straight to the toilet so you can boot up the video. Nass makes a save. You cannot get off the toilet until he scores again. Stuck here for now. But now you can get off as Nass makes it 3-1. Yeah, I could do ball chasing uploads a week later, but then you start getting into what we call the lazy streamer area, where I have to remember to go back and put them back on ball chasing after the videos have been uploaded. And that would require work from a lazy streamer. You see how that creates a problem. Mawkzy. Flick. Denied by Nass. Trying to follow it right up, and it does work as he goes top right. I forget, chat. Who is Nass playing with on... Oh, Radosin. Radosin. Nass is on Ninjas in Pajamas. Going to be playing the European Last Chance qualifier alongside Oski and Radosin. At least I assume they're playing Europe. I haven't heard any news that they're playing MENA, and I don't know why they would go to another region, as they are probably a team who are favorites to win that Last Chance qualifier. Mawkzy setting up a flick and a 50. Maybe didn't get the kind of one you wanted. Itachi, from what my understanding is, this is just from reading, you know, posts here and there from people who maybe listen to a stream. Sounds like the best way to find out is to understand French and watch a stream. But apparently he's like burnt out, and or I don't know if he's ever heard the words burnt out. Basically, isn't really interested in grinding Rocket League much anymore. Apparently, after their match and not qualifying, you know, just wasn't really playing the game. He's been streaming recently. Stream's been going well whenever I've seen his stream. Seems like people like it. I like streaming. I could see someone wanting to stream as a job. Mawkzy gonna counter and make it 3-4. Seems a lot more stressful to be playing and to have your results, you know, dictate your compensation, but also a lot more fun too. I mean, lands have got to be the most fun thing to ever do, I imagine, while playing. So it's a mix, but maybe once you've done it for as long as Itachi has, you've had enough. Mawkzy down one as he tries to equalize here with possession. He is going to go back around the ball. and chip it directly on target. He just threw one directly at Nass. Will be enough to get boost steal, but Nass has boost of his own. So he'll send Mawkzy all the way back. Lots of time, though, for Mawkzy to get this goal. Although, I think Nass has the advantage right now with Mawkzy. Sure, he's on ball, but it's going to cost him all his boost. He's not likely to hold on to it. Nass up the side wall. Mawkzy to the ceiling. Nice challenge. We just saw Vatira do a S-tier job at defending. Oh, there's that flick again. See, I like to see Mawkzy feeling good about his flick. It doesn't pay off. I mean, Nass is still a great defender, but you should be able to use it on occasion to get outplays. Nass going to pass to himself off the side wall and take to the skies. Mawkzy gets around to make the save, lands on the inside of the net, and has to pre-flip in order to keep the ball away from Nass. Preferably, he would take it straight to the net, but Nass recovered decently enough, and that roll away should be enough. 1-1. Mawkzy and Nass all tied up as we head to game number 3. Game number 3. Mawkzy and Nass. Mawkzy slamming one towards the top shelf. Nice reset. Oh, I'm not sure you got it or not. I think he just landed and flipped in. Nass using his wall dashing to get all the way out of position. Unfortunately, not to his advantage. Let's go, Mawkzy. I have to assume that that's how the person wanted to be said when they sent that as their first time chat. Nass bringing this one to the ground, 50 in it off the post. Able to follow it up for his first goal. Anybody just tuning in who doesn't know the format, we've got Mawkzy versus Nwpo. And they are not playing each other directly. Instead, they're playing all the same opponents and looking to have a better record. In the case of Nass, Mawkzy's going first, so you will see Nwpo versus Nass immediately following this one. Mawkzy 50 forces one up to the back wall. Follows it up for a second goal. Nass on the air dribble, taking it out to the midfield, not rushing it straight towards the net in order to cause, a tough challenge from Mawkzy. A lot of ground to cover, but Mawkzy does cover that ground and then gets a demo. And now into a dribble of his own, fakes, goes low, and will be able to style a couple more touches to make it 3-1. Nass taking this one to the side wall as Mawkzy giving it a little bit extra. Popping into the midfield. Nice movement on the reset, but Mawkzy still makes a save. Nass trying to chip it down. Mawkzy escaping a demo now into a dribble of his own. Quick collection. Wants to go to his flick. Doesn't quite get it. Nass forces the low flick into the crossbar, but not far enough out to get out of danger. Mawkzy will make it 4-1. Mawkzy launches this one high and does manage to pre-flip out to his boost and grab it just before Nass arrives. Here's another flick situation. Mawkzy, little camera checks, decides the air dribble 50 is the way to go. Now we'll look to starve out. Ooh, that's definitely not what he wants to do. As he takes a nice trip all the way around the boost without stealing it. Nass doesn't pick up much either, though. So Mawkzy able to stay on offense. As the possession will reset. Nass looking to try and close the distance. Doesn't work. Mawkzy flicks over the top. And it's 5-1 here in game number 3. Mawkzy. Oh, I was going to say, this might be a situation in which doing the opposite flick from the one he's used to. Could put the ball away from Nass, but ultimately he sticks with his signature and actually puts it up kind of behind Nass. Ends up being much better. Almost like Mawkzy should be the player and not me. Nah, surely that's not it. Nass, who tried to steal the boost, I imagine, in reverse there, but didn't get it. Air dribble started. Can Nass find a way to bring this back to the net? I'm not sure it's worth it. It's going to cost so much boost, and it's going to be fairly easy to read, but he did try and do so. Maybe bringing it there, you know, forces a save that otherwise would not have happened, and a counter might be easier. Nass going to get a second goal. He hasn't given up yet. He was down 5. He's going to make it down 4 with 2 minutes to make up that ground. Mawkzy hovering on the side wall, waiting for a 50. Just positioning himself in a spot that would force Nass to make a bad challenge. Nass took a sweet time. And now Mawkzy's going to head back to his own corner. As a shadowing Nass. Nass going for a redirect to try and drop it down into his corner and not going for the psycho. As I don't think he felt that was reliable enough, but turns out leaving the ball close to the net didn't work either. As Mawkzy grinds out another goal. 7-2. Nass dunks this one straight over the top. And Mawkzy with the goal line save. Ball 50% of the way in. Zap dash demo! And Mawkzy's going to go pick up 100. And he's ready to demo again. Nass goes next. Game number 4. Mawkzy and Nass. Mawkzy looking to try and get a win. I can't believe I'm saying it, but a rare win it would be for either one of these guys so far. Still lots of tournament left to change their records around, as Nass pre-flips, doesn't get maybe the extra reset he was hoping for, and instead will hand the ball to Mawkzy for the first goal. Mawkzy just rolling straight down the center of the field before the 50. A nice follow-up as Nass looked to try and close some of that distance after the initial save. Got bumped into net. Ended up going too far out to not commit. Nass not able to pick up the midfield 100. I think Mawkzy wanted a first touch there based on everything else his car did, but forced into catching the ball high. Something that's easy to intercept. Nass reads that, takes it away. And now, looking to try and go get midfield 100. I would have thought he'd gone back to the back corner for 100, but instead felt like he needed to force the issue a bit more. Even though he didn't get a good possession. I guess he has a solid one now and was able to pick up the 100 later. Nice side flip as Mawkzy tried to challenge. Do I think the results would have been different if this was a best of 7? You mean in general, like all the different matches? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's, you know, that much different from playing a best of 5. Because maybe you're posturing, you know, hey, these guys won the tournaments that were all best of 7 in order to qualify for LAN, and LAN match will be best of 7. So maybe they're just best of 7 players. I don't think it would be a lot different. What if they were best of 1? If they were best of 1 and or it was first goal wins, I'm willing to consider that it might have been different. Mawkzy throwing another attempt at a kickoff goal on net. Nass able to stop it. And now dribbling out of the corner, dunked away. Nass's offense has looked a little less consistent. Mawkzy has been able to capitalize on some open nets. What happens if they're tied at the end? So if they're tied by series, we'll go to game differential. And if they're tied by game differential, I think I said I'll add the prize to the World Championship. You just get an extra 1,000. We'll call it a tie. And when they actually play each other, whoever wins gets just a little bit more. Penalty shootout is not how I'd want to end it. But I highly doubt that game differential will also be tied. I think the chances that series is tied is pretty high. You know, I could definitely see that happening. But game differential, probably not. Nice one from Nass as Mawkzy able to cut off this ball from falling down to the ground with his resets. And Nass gets caught completely out of position. Rocket League penalty shootout would be pretty tough to do. How would you guys do it? Low 50 from Mawkzy. Ooh, he's getting confident. He is getting confident, and he's going to make Nass come back here and let it slow roll in. Because just putting the ball on top of, you know, somebody's car or something isn't really a good enough position. You almost need like a bouncing ball maybe, or you could get to pick between like a high bounce that you could aerial set up easy. I don't know. And then after the save, like just a singular save or this ball heading back past the midfield line or something. Maybe that's all defenders have to do, just clear it out, and then that ends it. Otherwise, it's a long... They could play for a minute. I don't know. I'm not sure it would go as well as you think it might. But there's probably some good rules. You just have to bend it a little bit. American style, they start at midfield and have a few seconds. I almost feel like it'd have to be like a full possession. Like you give somebody a possession, and then as they cross the midfield line, then the defender can challenge or something, and then all they have to do is get it past the midfield line again, and that counts as saving it. Mawkzy up 7-3. Seems to finally be comfortable. These are the kind of matches we were maybe expecting to see from these best 1v1ers in the world. Nass going to be forced into a DS challenge as he has to dodge the Mawkzy demo. Reset bump. No save by Mawkzy. He was on the back wall with Nass. Forced him to jump early. Made the full recovery and made the save to make it 8-3. And with 49 seconds left to go, I thought maybe there'd be a forfeit, but Nass does have a good chance if he can get a kickoff. He just needs to kick off every 10 seconds. I mean, certainly not impossible, but something that Mawkzy can easily prevent if he really wants to. Now he's going for double resets. He does get over the top of Nass. That'll probably be it. I imagine Nass is down to go next now, but you never know. It is the end of the series. He's going to stick with it. I say go next because he's got Nwpo right after this. And you might be wondering, oh, having to play another series right after a loss, that's going to be an advantage for Nwpo, right? Because Nass is going to be down in his luck. So far, only the opposite has happened. So far, people who have lost have only then gone on to win against the other person. Mawkzy wins 3-1, and that now puts him in the lead because he has a better series record, but of course it's because Nass hasn't played yet. So Nwpo needs a win. Or sorry, Nwpo hasn't played yet in order to keep his lead.